G'day camper. If I'm being honest, I've never been a fan of the idea of 180 awnings. Like, how useful can those little extra triangle pieces of canopy really be? And this one, being pretty new to the market, being heavier and bulkier than many of the others, has a lot to prove. So, can the OPENROAD 180-degree freestanding awning change my mind? Let's find out. Who is it for? This one's going to be great for solo travellers, the camping duo, and even a small, maybe a young family. As far as your vehicle setup goes, it's going to be great for small vehicle campers, large vehicle campers, but for caravan and camper trailer owners, yeah, look, actually, I think it's going to see quite a bit of use for those roadside lunch stops. Now, before we go any further, I need you to know that no review on this channel will ever be sponsored by the brand whose product I'm reviewing. That being said, OPENROAD did provide me this awning for the review, and that means I was able to secure an affiliate link with a discount code for you. So if you decide this awning is for you, make sure you check the link in the description for that discount code and link. Now let's talk the hard stats. Closed, it measures 2 meters long, 200mm high, and 200mm thick. It also weighs 23 kilos, so it's thicker and heavier than most other awnings on the market. Usually I'd say this is a very bad thing, but as you'll come to find out through this review, it actually serves a very important purpose. The canopy is 230 GSM ripstop polyester with this UV blocking and waterproof coating on it. It gives you 6.7 square meters of coverage, which is a little on the smaller side. A lot of 180-degree awnings are more around the 8 square meters. The frame is all aluminium. The pricing is 1,099 Australian dollars or 699 US dollars. But every time I've looked, they've been on sale for Australian $649 or US $449. And you'll get it even cheaper than that with my discount code down below. The warranty on that is a very generous 3 years. It comes with a comprehensive fitting kit, including 3 brackets, though I can only use 2 with the 2 roof bars we have here. It also comes with T-bolts, which are for use in slotted roof bars or roof trays. If you don't have the slots, it also comes with clamp-style mounts. Now, the first thing I noticed when I unpacked this was the gusseting in the back of those brackets. I have had these type of brackets bend on me in the past, so I'm pretty excited to see that. First thing to do is slot the T-bolts into the back of the awning itself, and then pop some T-bolts into the bottom of the bracket and loosely secure the nylock nuts. After that, we loosely fit the bracket to the awning, and then with the help of a friend, because this thing is a little bit heavy, you want to lift it up. One person can hold it, the other person just has to align the nuts to slide it into the channel. Then you can just shuffle it back and forth on your vehicle to find the right spot and tighten everything up. Here's where I ran into trouble. It's where the T-bolts slotted into the roof bars. They fit, but the heads on them weren't long enough, which meant as soon as I tried to tighten them, they just spun in the channel. So you've got to prepare yourself that you might have to buy some branded T-bolts to suit your roof rack. For me, I was lucky enough to have some lying around. Now, the kit does include some spanners, as you might have seen. I didn't use them. I went straight for the power tools, so in half an hour, it's all mounted. Now let's have a look at the setup. Zipper. Now, up the top here, I just poke the poles. I don't even strap them in. They just sit fine up the top. So there's 2 poles in here for the front of the awning and the rear. And the 2 middle arms have the poles built in. Now, it's worth noting that the front pole does foul on the guard of the vehicle if I'm not careful, but it can be angled to work. So it doesn't exactly look great, but it does the job. Got 3 Velcro straps. Rear arm goes first. What does it smell like? Fish. I've never been fishing. It comes with straps. The straps were too short. I had some tread straps for recovery tracks lying around home, and I'm just using those to extend it. There you go, that's it. So it's a little bit longer setup than a 270 awning because you've got the 2 arms that you need to strap out but it's not too bad. So I've had 3 months with this awning, and let me tell you about my experience over that time. The first time I ever set it up was in the driveway at home, just to make sure everything was there and there wasn't any damage. Then the first real use was taking it down to the beach. Plenty of sun, of course, and unlike some other awnings, not a peep of light comes through the actual canopy. Now, I was there nice and early in the morning, so it was beautiful and calm, but of course, filming on the beach all day, the wind did pick up. It was exactly this scenario where I have bent a bracket on a 270 awning in the past. And so with a 270 awning, I would usually drop a leg down just to reduce that up and down flex. On this awning, it's very easily done. It's just got a plastic clip up here holding it in place. Drop it. Locked. Beautiful, just the way I like it. Now that's been a recurring theme for this awning. It is unbelievably sturdy, and I'll go into a few of my theories as to why that is when it comes to the pros and cons. Before we go there, however, I want to talk about how it did in the rain. Not a drop of rain came through. All the seams are very well sealed, and the waterproofing on this is impeccable. I've never seen anything beat water like that. Now, every 270 awning I've ever seen pulls a bit of water. It doesn't matter whether it's the cheapest or the most expensive. It just seems to be the nature of the design. If you get the basic straight out 90-degree awning and drop a leg, they don't pull water, they're really good. And this really surprised me. At worst, I saw 50 mil of water pulled right along the edge. And interestingly, they've obviously used some really good waterproofing treatment, because the water does not soak into the fabric. It sits there in little beads, and then as it rolls off, it leaves the fabric underneath it completely dry. There's a tie down at each arm, and there's also tie downs for the spans of fabric in between. So you can use those tie downs to pull down on the canopy and direct water runoff. Interestingly, I didn't put this in my notes because it hadn't happened, but I opened it up today and a couple of the little D-rings for the tie downs have got a little bit of surface rust. I think it might be nice to see stainless steel. Would be pretty neat if they're gonna rust, because I'd only had it in the rain once. And finally, nighttime. Not any more challenging than daytime, except that you can't see. Or can you? Okay, so I didn't show you this in the setup yet. It comes with this big old, looks like a bird's nest right now, power lead. It's USB, just standard USB-A on the end there. And if I plug this in to the arms, we have inbuilt lights. I have to go one here. It's got a little touch area here on each light, or it's a button actually. It's a press button you can feel, so you can change between amber, white, mix, and by holding your finger on it, you can dim it down and bring it back up. Now, I've got the best hack for these lights. It might be the best hack I've ever done on this channel. Let's have a look at that after the pros and cons. Pro number one, this awning is unbelievably sturdy. And I put that down to two main things. Number one is the truss arms. So instead of it just being a single extrusion, it's two triangular pieces that come together. That's what adds so much of the bulk to this awning, but it's also one of the reasons it's so sturdy. The second thing is something that's unique to 180 awnings. So with the 270, everything hinges on that one point at the back of the awning. Well, on the 180, we've got two arms there. So that's two areas to spread the load. And so that leads us into pro number two. This awning is fully freestanding. OPENROAD claims up to 30 kilometers an hour with no pegs, up to 60 if you peg it down. Honestly, I can't see myself ever needing pegs. Pro number three is the canopy on that is so taut. There's always a downfall with these 270 and 180, especially freestanding awnings, is that the canopy is not as taut as the simple, straight out 90-degree cheap awning. It's just a downfall you have to live by, but they've done really well with this. Pro number four is that it's weatherproof. I already spoke in some detail about how rainproof it is, so let me talk about the other side of it being lightproof. So no sunlight gets through it. When you look at a comparable 180 awning from Adventure Kings, the material is thin and lightweight and doesn't have any of these waterproof backings or light-proof backings. So quite a lot of sunlight comes through, which means a bit more heat and a bit more UV. And pro number 5 is that very generous 3-year warranty. Con number 1, it was that the instructions could use updating, but OPENROAD say they have updated them. My problem was that the instructions were more specific to the 270 awning and didn't have anything in there about the 180 awning. Con number 2, as I said at the start, there's a couple of parts that could use some attention. So the straps that keep the ends out, that go back to your roof bars, were too short. I can't see them working in any situation, to be honest. The second one was those T-bolts where the heads were not rectangular, weren't long enough, which meant just like putting a normal bolt in, they were able to spin and I couldn't get them tight. OPENROAD said they've had this issue brought up with them a few times and they're looking into changing that. So you might get improved T-bolts with yours if you purchase one. But having said that, when it comes to fitting anything to a vehicle, there's always these little variances that you don't know to account for. So, you know, be ready to buy those T-bolts from the manufacturer of your roof rack or roof bars anyway. Con number 3 is these 2 separate poles you have to carry around and store separately to the rest of the awning. Now, to be fair, I don't see myself ever using them. I think I'm just going to start leaving them at home. It's so sturdy, and if the wind does pick up enough, you've got 2 inbuilt poles there to stop it from moving around. The only time I could see myself using this is if I purchased the optional wall kit, and then I think you'd need the poles to support that extra weight. Issues and breakages. The only issue I've had is that one I discovered just today with that little bit of surface rust on the D-rings. You know, since I discovered this about the rusting D-rings, I've gone home and I've had a bit of a think and I thought, why don't I just cut them off with bolt cutters or something? There's a fabric loop there to hold them on. Well, on other awnings I've used in the past, all they've had is a fabric loop as a tie down, so that's good enough. You might even find that they have changed the coating on these to stainless steel because I have bought it up with them. As for parts and repairability, there's not many spares on the website that you can see. You can purchase a full awning wall kit for it, which is pretty neat. I did ask OPENROAD if spares are available, and I specifically said outside of warranty. So if you've done your warranty and you want to get more life out of your awning, yes, they can sell you the PVC bag cover for the awning. Those tend to go pretty quick if you leave your car parked out in the sun. The mounting hardware, the mounting brackets, they can sell you the accessory kit with the pegs and everything as well. So there's quite a bit of repairability going on there. My tips and hacks. I've only got one today, but as I said earlier, it is a doozy. Can you see this tangled mess of cables hanging down behind me here? I'm going to show you my idea. So the lights, they're powered by USB, right? So what if you powered them from a power bank? They're so cheap, they're LED lights, so they're not going to use a great deal of power. And then you don't have to have this cable running into one of your doors. You don't have to have your car ignition on if you don't have any power that works without the keys in. Just a power bank. So this doesn't have to get closed in your door. All these cables can be brought up here. Put a magnet on the back of your power bank and bang, all in one tidy integrated solution. Now, I did put this idea to OPENROAD. They asked me pretty early on if I had any feedback, and I think it was when I opened this in the driveway. The first thing I thought was, it'd be really good if we could have a little pouch somewhere in the frame here so you could plug in this power bank and just poke it in. And so they have actually implemented that. They say you're probably not going to see it on the 180, unfortunately. But you'll find it on the 270 models now and the 270 Max, which has the bit extra over the front. But I think if you can stick a magnet on the back of a power bank and just stick it to your car. So has it changed my mind on 180-degree awnings? Yes. That little triangular piece there actually counts for a lot more than I thought it would. And when you're working with a liftback vehicle like this, you've almost got your 270-degree coverage there anyway. So I reckon it's a pretty good buy. Let me know what you think. And if you have any tips or comments or suggestions, let us know down in the comments. And you might just be helping a fellow camper in the future.